Part 64. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 631. As a father, of course he wants the best for his daughter. I'll arrange for an ambulance to come over. It's just the chairman who said this turned around. Oreki, did you really not do anything to Arisu today or yesterday? In other words, although it was confirmed that her daughter's vital signs were stable. But does Chairman Sakayanagi want to be held accountable now? Do you think Oreki did something extreme to Sakayanagi, such as being affectionate between a couple, which caused him to faint today? And this kind of thing. Oreki felt that the opposite was more likely. Chapter 297. Sakayanagi Yuzu is unhappy. Next. Oreki-san was suspected by Chairman Sakayanagi of doing something to Sakayanagi, which caused Sakayanagi to faint. But this is really a false slander. Because Oreki-san never did anything to Sakayanagi, but she always wanted to do something to him in turn. Rather, he tried very hard every time to resist and pretend to be incomprehensible. Only the chairman also loves his daughter very much. Oreki-san can understand because he has experienced what it feels like to be a father because of his precognitive dream. But now Sakayanaga's fainting was just a false alarm. Originally, he thought he had the ability to travel through time and space and superimpose recovery, but then some bug occurred and Sakayanagi fainted. Made him feel guilty. As a result, touching it again just now can confirm, it's not that it has no effect, but that even if there are changes after traveling through time and space and going back to the past, you have to wait for the reaction in this time period here. In this way, the physical problem that Sakayanagi-san has been worrying about has been solved. But this kind of thing cannot be said directly. So Oreki said, Chairman Sakayanagi, I think the most important thing now is to confirm Sakayanaga's physical condition. Yes. Yes, the chairman nodded. Now is not the time for accountability. And he also met Oreki-san many times and felt that this child was well measured. So when his daughter took the initiative to date Oreki, he didn't stop her. Just trust the other person. Rather, after calming down a little, I feel that Arisu's attack power is stronger. So, if something really happened, Arisu would be the one taking the lead. Then Oreki-san turned out to be innocent. So, as if feeling wronged, Chairman Sakayanagi quickly called the staff. No more mention of accountability. After a while, an ambulance drove into the school. Then we stopped at the health room. Oreki carefully picked up Sakayanagi. Prepare to go to the hospital for examination together. I'd better go to the hospital, but when they were at the school gate, Chairman Sakayanagi refused to let Oreki-san accompany him. He is the chairman, and it is against the rules for him to leave the school, but it doesn't matter, he can pay the price of points. But Oreki-san is still a student. As a student leaving school, even if there are emergencies like this, it still doesn't comply with the rules. Moreover, Oreki is a very outstanding person among the students of this class. It is also regarded as a very important observation object. Chairman Sakayanagi does not want the other party to capsize here. Oreki. Fine. Because it was confirmed that Sakayanaga's body was fine, so Oreki-san watched the ambulance leave. And he also had things to accomplish. Oreki returned to the teaching building from the school gate. Because the exam ended unanimously, the students could move around freely and even started to finish school. Only when Oreki-san returned to class, he found that all 39 students in the class were still in the classroom. Even Kojinji-san, a very disconnected person, did not leave. Rather, after being promoted to Class A, Takaharaji-san has become much more smooth. But Oreki doesn't think it's because the other person has changed, but it's probably because Kojinji feels that this kind of interpersonal interaction is more beneficial to him. So, Oreki-san Takaharaji was in the classroom, just looking in the mirror. But his sight and observation skills were very good, and he immediately spotted Oreki Houtarou walking in from the door, so he took the initiative to talk to him. "How is little girl's situation?" Gao Yuanji said. "Little girl. This title is not good, it will make people think that he who is dating Sakayanagi Yuzu is a Lolita. There's something wrong with Sakayanaga's body," Oreki-san said. "That's why I fainted. And now being put into an ambulance and headed outside the school. But you can rest assured." Oreki then added. "Sakayanaga's body is developing in a good direction. Are you sure this news is true?" It was originally a question from Kojinji, but Katsuragi-san started to talk. In the past, this class was divided into the Katsuragi faction, the Sakayanagi faction, and the neutral Oreki faction. However, everything ended in special exams one after another. And Sakayanagi Yuzu also became the student council president, and even ignored previous suspicions and arranged for Katsuragi to become the vice president. So Katsuragi also remembers the other person's favor. But unless Sakayanagi is a boss or a student in the class, Katsuragi will be worried that the other party is also having trouble. Rather, Katsuragi-san is actually quite a decent person. "I promise," Oreki said. She was taken out of the ambulance and found that her physical condition seemed to have improved. "Then it is necessary to leave the school for a more comprehensive inspection." "That's good," Hashimoto-san also said. Among them, Kito Junichi, who was also in the student union, also nodded. "He is not very good at talking to others, but as a classmate, he is worried about his peers." This is Class A. And it was in order to inform these classmates about Sakayanagi that Oreki chose to stay. Then, because the student council president was absent, Katsuragi-san, the vice president, was responsible for collecting the mobile phones submitted by the dropouts from Class D this time. So, Sakayanagi-san is going to have a physical checkup and then leave the school. After the special exam ended unanimously, Oreki-san did not leave the school immediately this time. But when he returned to his dormitory, he was caught by Kuruzawa-san. So, now both of them are in Oreki's dormitory. Kuruzawa-san already knew about Sakayanagi-san's fainting. Rather, this is the student council president, a colleague, and Oreki-san's girlfriend. "Will definitely pay attention. I will pay the points for Sakayanaga's departure from school," Oreki said. "It would be better to say that now that he has completed his mission, he is so poor that he only has points left. So, you came to me specifically. Do you have anything to say?" Oreki said. Now Kuruzawa-san is sitting on his bed. Megami was wearing socks, so this position exposed part of the white skin of her calves. This is why there are no extra chairs in his room. If he is sitting, then the only place where the visiting guests can sit is probably on his bed. Well, Kuruzawa-san's delicate brows moved, then bent. "It really can't be hidden." Actually, Hui said. "For this exam, our class chose to drop one student out of school in exchange for a 500-point class evaluation score. Then, I always feel that this kind of behavior is a little cruel." Moreover, Megami seemed a little afraid to look at Oreki. Because it shows her negative side. "I think this exchange is worth it." Then she was also the leading classmate of classmates who dropped out of school. "It's just that I feel a bit psychologically burdened." Yes. The psychological burden is, after all, taking the initiative to make others drop out of school. But Oreki-san has already passed this exam twice. And he could also see that Hui now seemed worried that his evaluation of her would decline. At the same time, there are also regrets from some students who dropped out. "Actually, there is a safe solution to this special test," Oreki said. "That is to give adequate compensation to those who drop out. It's not a loss to drop out of school after getting paid. At the same time, for others, because they sacrificed their classmates, they also got a class evaluation score of 500 points. Once they can keep it. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 632. That's very valuable, Oreki said. So you made the right choice. However, I don't think it is necessary to pay the price to the students who were expelled, Oreki continued. After all, other classes can regard this exam as an assessment to eliminate unnecessary students. But your class, actually has a lot of unnecessary students, Oreki said. So it would be terrible if we set a precedent where everyone pays the price for dropping out. For it. This statement. Although he was angry, Kurosawa-san couldn't deny it. But because she had discussed this topic with Oreki-san, she felt a lot more relaxed. It's just that I feel a little guilty after all. Although President Sakayanagi is not in school, bullying her boyfriend seems a bit excessive. In this way, Kurosawa-san was quite reserved that day. But that night, Sakayanagi Arisu didn't come back either. The next day, and the third day too. However, as members of the student council, Katsuragi and the others received a telegram from the president, Sakayanagi Arisu. He said that there was nothing wrong with his body, but he needed to recuperate outside for another week, so he entrusted the student union affairs to them. Of course, Katsuragi-san would not refuse. But Oreki had different ideas. Because, is Kosake Inagi such a reliable person? Of course, if the student president is away, it is very important to arrange the work of the vice president. But Oreki felt that the more upright Sakayanagi acted, the more abnormal he became. In other words, Kosake Inagi may want to do something. And this also shows that there is no need to worry about Sake Inagi's physical problems. In this way, although President Sakayanagi is absent, everyone is in good condition. There is even some expectation that when President Sakayanagi grows back, his body will become better. After the special exam ended unanimously, according to the plan, the next step was the sports festival. It's just that the cultural festival was a project that suddenly appeared and was interspersed among them. According to Oreki's speculation, it was because the school failed to withstand the pressure from Ayanokaji's father. I was forced to make an opening. But a cultural festival is a cultural festival. Then this is the project decided by our class. Katsuragi-san stood on the blackboard and circled 3 projects. But instead of being separated, the 3 projects are being worked on together. In fact, Katsuragi-san wanted Oreki-san to host, but Oreki-san thought Katsuragi-san was more stable, so he let him go to the platform. And judging from the results of the selected items, fried rice noodles, coffee desserts, and takoyaki. Should I say it is true? When I think of cultural festivals, I think of things to eat and play. Therefore, the project Katsuragi finally chose was also related to eating and drinking. Certainly. These are all plans for the exam. What matters to Oreki is the condition of Kosake Inagi. It doesn't matter what the exam is. And thinking about it, it was the 4th day since Sakayanagi Yuzu left school. Oreki-san did not use teleportation to go home, but planned to live in the school temporarily. It has been 4 days since Kosake Inagi left school. It's not that he is worried about the other party's situation, but that he is giving the other party a chance. Then, at 7 o'clock in the evening, after Oreki-san had dinner in the cafeteria, he returned to his dormitory. Drop. Almost as soon as he opened the door, he noticed that there was an extra breath in his room. This is the response of an optimized body. Moreover, he is no stranger to the owner of this breath. Rather say. Oreki put on his slippers from the entrance and walked to the bed. Then he looked at the quilt that was clearly folded when he went out, but now it was rolled up. This is a relatively obvious situation where someone entered the room and hid under the quilt. Oreki-san knows that. Sakayanagi Arisu is rich in attack power, and is also good at attacking directly when the attack power is very strong. So, look, isn't this just an attack? Hey. When Oreki stood beside the bed, the girl who had hid under the quilt in advance seemed to be no longer ready to pretend. Just make a cute sound and then lift the quilt. I haven't seen you for 4 days, Houtarou. Her voice is quite pleasant, and it is the Sakayanagi Arisu that Oreki-san is familiar with. The mother of his second daughter. It's just Oreki said. Why did you come here specially changed into pajamas? And even sprayed on perfume? Well, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. You also know that I love to be clean. Moreover, the other party said. Don't you think we missed it a lot? Have you missed it many times? Arisudan Oreki said. Your body dash. I have been in the hospital for 4 days, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. It's like a miracle. My congenital heart disease seems to be cured. Even my father and the doctor were stunned, but the doctor came to the conclusion that maybe it was because I fell in love. Feeling happy. So it caused a miracle in the body, Sakayanagi said. This statement is the closest to the truth. It's just Oreki-san looked at Yuzu Sakayanaga's little hand. In her left hand, she was holding a box of tea. Well, Sakayanagi Yuki looked over with clear eyes. I want to make up for the times we didn't do. Is it? I need to make up for it? And Oreki also knew that she seemed to have endured it for a long time. So now that my body has recovered, naturally, I want to have a good time. But, Arisu, don't regret it, Oreki-san thought he could remind her. Regret, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. There is no word regret in my dictionary. I'm used to taking action when it's time to take action. Is it? He seems to be in high spirits and fighting spirit. Then, the next day, because it is the weekend, the students have a break. And Amasawa-san is just like what she said to Sakayanagi Yuzu, although she cannot be a White House student, she wants to experience the life of an ordinary girl. So now I am a foodie, and I am going to the shopping street to deal with the breakfast problem at a dessert shop that has recently been highly rated. Only, as she was walking on the road, she spotted a cutie with straight silver hair. But, what a chance encounter! Sakayanagi-senpai Amasawa Ichika was quite polite. However, Sakayanagi-senpai, your health seems to be in very bad shape. Are you sure you don't need any help now? Amasawa Ichika said. You look very weak now. Sakayanagi. Chapter 298. Because I bought her time, she can't object to anything I do. Sakayanagi Arisu's health has improved, and now she no longer needs to use a cane to move around. However, after all, she has been using a cane for more than 10 years, and even as her body recovers, she has formed a habit. After all, silver-haired, sickly, young girl. This feature can still be retained. She was quite certain about this. Moreover, she discovered that Oreki-san seemed to be a lolicon. Certainly. These are not things that can be said openly. Yuzu Sakayanagi looked over. What he saw was a cute girl with purple twin tails. If Sakayanagi himself is the cutest girl in the 2nd grade, then the school girl in front of him is probably the cutest person among the freshmen in the 1st grade. The other party's name is Amasawa Ichika. Sakayanagi-san doesn't like Amasawa-san. It wasn't that the other party had offended her, but that she was instinctively hostile to the other party. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 633. Of course, these are all unreasonable things. If she is fussy about it, it will appear that she is not generous enough. But now it would be rude to ignore the other party's initiative to talk to him. Kosake Inagi feels that he is a relatively cultured and elegant person. But I have to say that this schoolgirl can step on her thunder every time. What this schoolgirl said before about wanting to live like an ordinary girl was enough to make people care, but now she asks such a question. The previous concern was that Sakayanagi Yuzu thought that the life of an ordinary female high school student was probably to enjoy campus life and then, talk about love and so on. And in this school, she is not the one to praise. Her Oreki-san is a school idol, and he is a senior who is not good at dealing with girls, so he is very lethal to girls. As for Amasawa Ichika, she was from White House, so ordinary boys would definitely not be able to attract each other's attention, so Sakayanagi would care. Because no matter how you look at it, Oreki-san, she added, is in danger. So this made Sakayanagi Yuzu wary. But now, the schoolgirl is still the same, picking up whatever pot she doesn't like. She is indeed very weak now. But it is not physical weakness, but mental weakness. Yes. At first, I thought that Houtarou was worried about her health, so he kept away from her, but when she took out the diagnostic examination certificate obtained from the hospital, Oreki-san seemed to be a different person. I don't pity her at all. Yesterday was terrible. Even though she had begged for mercy, she was still not let go. And now he escapes while the other party is sleeping. Men who have been abstinent are really terrible. Kosake Inagi confirmed this again. I think my condition is still okay, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. There is no time to be helped. Really, Dan said. I thought Sakayanagi-senpai used her weak body to seduce Oreki-senpai and ended up like this. Sakayanagi. How annoying, this schoolgirl. Did you learn any mind-reading skills in the White Room? Sakayanagi Yuzu really wanted to pout. But her blue eyes stared at the cute purple-haired schoolgirl. Suddenly, a light flashed in his mind. Despite this, I still don't recommend that you fall in love like an ordinary girl during school. Sakayanagi Yuzu said. And what I'm talking about here is the conversation I had with my schoolgirl on the ship. At that time, Sakayanagi also advised junior girls that although they wanted to live an ordinary girl's life, they did not recommend falling in love. He even informed the school that there were no family planning supplies. Once they crossed the line, they would be easily expelled. And the schoolgirl must already know this. But Sakayanagi didn't think the schoolgirl would be obedient. So what I say now is just a deliberate conspiracy for the other party. Yes. Although her words and tone had a bit of a provocative approach, Tians Jr. is a smart person and can understand that this is a conspiracy rather than a provocative approach. Really, Tians gently touched his ponytail on the left side. But I think it would be a pity if an ordinary girl misses the course of love. Then it depends on your own considerations, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. After all, I'm just giving you advice as a senior, not forcing you. Then after saying this, Sakayanagi held the cane in his left hand and walked forward. She's physically fine, and now she's out. But always felt. Houtarou seemed not to be completely satisfied. As a girlfriend, she just ran away, a little disqualified. So after thinking about it, she made a concession. Although I don't like this schoolgirl, she is a White House student after all and has very strong physical fitness, so she must be very patient. No, it's because her body has a strong endurance. Therefore, maybe he can be a tool to deal with Houtarou's excessive energy. It was just a last resort move. Sakayanagi was feeling a little down, so he planned to call Kamuro-san out later and bully him. Yuzu, Sakayanagi thought. On her side, she changed her initial hostility towards the schoolgirl, and even deliberately set up a position to let the schoolgirl contact Houtarou on her own, but it was not about letting Oreki-san out. She just felt that being on guard against the schoolgirl was not very effective. Then be more aggressive. Let the schoolgirl contact Houtarou directly. Let the schoolgirls also experience the dangers of the opposite sex, and then understand that dating Oreki Houtarou is not an easy task. So he quickly gave up the idea of falling in love with Oreki Houtarou. At the same time, it can also solve Oreki-san's problem of excessive energy. So this is a move that kills two birds with one stone. It would be better to say that even though he knew that Sato's little Baichi was just a loser, he still dared to publicize that he had cheated on her. And this operation can also hurt Sato. Although Oreki-san's excessive energy can also be allocated to Sato, but Sakayanagi doesn't want to help Sato realize his dream. Rather, Sakayanagi actually wanted to see the other person cry. So he chose to arrange for the schoolgirl to join the battle, and then defeated the defeated dog Sato. Wouldn't it be possible to see Sato crying like a little cat again? That's really pleasing. So this is killing three birds with one stone. It should be said that it is her. And thinking like this, Sakayanagi could feel that the Amasawa Jr. didn't seem to leave, and was always looking at her back. It seems that the schoolgirl has recognized that this is her conspiracy. On Monday, Sakayanagi Yuzu returned to the classroom. In fact, she came back on Friday afternoon, but considering that she wanted to surprise Oreki-san, she hid her tracks. On weekends, she also appeared in school, so her classmates already knew that she was back. But just like this, I will meet you all again on Monday. Sakayanagi-kun, are you okay with your health? The classmates in the class found that although Sakayanagi was still holding a cane, his steps and posture were much better than before. What I got from Oreki-san was that Sakayanagi Yuzu was a blessing in disguise, and his body was greatly healed. There may be no need to abstain from the next sports festival. Such news. However, as classmates, everyone knows that President Sakayanagi and Mr. Sakayanagi are very weak, but they say they want to participate in the sports festival or something, this kind of thing. For me, this is something similar to a miracle, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. I think it's probably because I feel better and am nourished by love. Fall in love. As soon as this statement appeared, the students in the class looked at each other. Yes. Because everyone knows that Sakayanagi-san and Oreki-san are dating. Then because of the relationship, the mood became better, and it even affected the body, allowing the body to recover. It sounds like a miracle. Then I think I might not have to miss this year's sports festival, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. Is it? Sports festival? Although Sakayanagi said so, Oreki also said that Sakayanagi might be able to participate in the sports festival. But ordinary people still can't believe that a person with a weak body can become an athletic genius. So everyone changed the subject amicably. But before that, the cultural festival must be held first, a classmate said. Cultural festival. Katsuragi-san has already set up events to participate in based on the strengths of Class A. It is a paradise for foodies, where meals are prepared and sold. If there is not enough money, Class A will subsidize it themselves. The purpose is to serve and gain points, not to make money. Generally speaking, according to the rules of the examination, the school will provide partial funds. For example, second-year students can receive 5,000 private points each, and if they participate in clubs or other clubs, they can get additional bonuses and a supplement of 1,000 points. These will be reimbursed by the school. However, be aware that schools give private points. Therefore, if students are willing to pay for it themselves, they can do so. Class A, on the other hand, doesn't have many students, but it has a lot of money. The class evaluation score has reached more than 3,500 points. Therefore, each student can get up to 350,000 private points every month. This number of points and purchasing power are no longer lost to ordinary college graduates. Regarding this, our class doesn't even need to pay a share, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. The store I just bought can afford it. It can be paired with drinks during the process of making fried noodles. As for the drinks, you can let the store pay for them. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 634. Pair it with a drink. If someone only paid for fried noodles, but also got the service of drinks, this can indeed increase the desire to buy. Because people like to take advantage. It would be better to say that class A was originally planning to give some money to make sales, and then increase the evaluation to gain points to cope with this exam. And Sakayanaga's current money burning means that this project that class A is not good at may be rewarded again. Actually, Nagamo-senpai is a good person, Yuzu Sakayanagi said. Yes, it is. Oreki-san held his cheek with his left hand and yawned. After returning to school, Nanyun fulfilled his promise and gave up the milk tea shop he opened at the beginning. Oreki handed over the milk tea shop's authorization letter and transfer certificate to Sakayanagi Arisu. And now Sakayanagi Yuzu seems to have a lot of money, and he is even willing to bear the cost of the drinks sold. It is purely because he just bought a milk tea shop and got a bargain. The milk tea shop was taken from Nagamo-senpai and given to Sakayanagi. Oreki had no intention of taking it back. So the other party can do whatever they want. Only. Oreki took out his phone and looked at the messages he had received. It's a message from a series of numbers. The content of the message is just that. Only one dot. Normally, if you press the wrong button, a symbol will be sent. And what happened to the schoolgirl sending this message? Was it simply a mistake? Or what does she want to do? Although we are in the same school, it is still difficult to meet specific classmates. Oreki-san discovered that not only Horikita-san seemed to be trying to avoid him, but Amasawa-san was also avoiding him these days. Horikita-san is relatively easy to understand, as the other party is following the path of his young love affair last year. But Amasawa-senpai is a bit strange. But Oreki-san is now in second year class D. To be precise, in their projects. Second grade class D has an advantage because there are many beautiful girls in their class. So as long as you open a maid cafe like a regular school cultural festival, it will instantly become famous. Certainly. Although there are many beautiful girls in their class, the stimulation is not strong enough. So I accepted Oreki-san's suggestion. Consider creating a super contrasting female teacher, who is usually aloof and stoic, and what kind of scene would it be like if she suddenly puts on a maid outfit? It will probably be very eye-catching. And they were lucky. After the special examination, which seemed to be unanimous, Kurosawa and Sato found Chibashira. But this time, Chibashira is willing to help. However, they did not ask Chibashira-sensei to change into a maid outfit, but instead asked, on the day of the cultural festival, "Can I pay points to buy you 1 hour of your time?" Use this statement. But is this really okay? Because it was a lie, Kurosawa-san felt that this was deception. Because she didn't tell Chibashira-sensei that she was inviting her to be a maid. Of course. And Hospi-san said. Because, when we entered school, didn't Chibashira-sensei say that we can buy anything with points? So Chibashira-sensei is willing to put a price on her time for us to buy it? Then she can't object to anything we do, Hospi said. In other words, is it the legendary way of treating others the way they are treated? But Oreki always felt that Hospi's line was a bit lewd. Because no matter what he does, Chibashira cannot object. And Oreki-san, who had heard Hospi say that Archangel Ichinose was too angelic, so he wanted to see Ichinose degraded, felt that Hospi-san was just trying to cause trouble. I simply wanted to see Chibashira-sensei look shy. Oreki has already met the girl Chibashira. If she were a girl, she would look stunning in a maid outfit. And now she is acting like a mature big sister, if she puts on a maid outfit. I really want to see it. And thinking about it, Oreki began to walk towards the other girls who were not acting as maids but as support staff. There, standing were Susan Horikita, who had straight black hair and was wearing black stockings, who was taking notes, Onodera, who was not qualified to change clothes because of her average appearance, and Sakura Ai, who did not have much confidence and was more shy. Inside, when they saw Oreki walking over, the three of them seemed to be nervous. Chapter 299 The Cultural Festival begins. Seeing Oreki-san coming over, the three of them seemed to be nervous. The first is Onodera-san, who is unfamiliar with Oreki-san. From Kushida-san, Oreki-san knows a lot about Onodera-san. Kushida sometimes talks trash, and Oreki gets some information even if he doesn't want to hear it. And this Onodera, according to Kushida's evaluation, is relatively introverted and has low self-esteem. At the same time, although the configuration in all aspects is not good, I just want to act together with the glorious girls. Probably because I'm not very confident, but I don't want to be abandoned, so I have a little low self-esteem and I know the type of my situation. In other words, it is more sensitive. And Oreki-san is indeed very dazzling as the boyfriend of the school's student council president, Sakayanagi Arisu. Coupled with the crazed point boss, it will make other students feel stressed. Certainly. Before these events, Oreki-san was a handsome boy who was very popular among girls. Suddenly he saw such a boy walking towards him. Onodera was naturally nervous. It's just that Oreki-san's target is not her. So is it Horikita-san? Indeed. Horikita Susan has become strange since the last exam on an uninhabited island. According to Oreki-san's understanding of love, Horikita Susan is falling into a sign of love. Rather say. Oreki always thought that she was in love with Horikita Susan, but in the end, she didn't realize it at all. But if she didn't understand it this way, she would definitely be dissatisfied with his relationship with Sakayanagi. Oreki-san was thinking. Certainly. He wasn't here to hurt Horikita Susan. Now Horikita-san is very young in love. If it is stimulated, it will probably shake violently. However, he had left her alone for a while, so it wouldn't work if he ignored her completely. So, Oreki ignored Onodera and walked in the direction of Horikita Susan. Although Horikita Susan was in charge of logistics before, she is now wearing a grey maid outfit. Her skin is snow white, which creates a contrasting beauty with the grey. Also, black stockings are beautiful. Obviously, this may be Kushida-san's handiwork. Although the two are still friends in the future, Kushida-san's way of expressing friendship is very strange. But I have to say that when Oreki came here, the first thing he saw was Horikita-san. And now, Oreki walked towards Horikita Susan. It can be seen that Horikita stood up straight and seemed to be frozen. But Oreki turned to Sakura midway. Sakura, are you sure you don't want to go on stage? Oreki-san said. Well, I was asked to be the manager of the cafe, to do the logistics work, Eri answered. Although her best friend Hospi-san really hopes that she can play the role of a maid, everyone knows that Sakura-san is a beautiful woman. But unfortunately, Sakura-san is very introverted. Not to mention playing the role of a maid, even letting her put on a maid uniform in front of others would make her feel ashamed. Yeah, I think logistics is also very important, Oreki said to Sakura Eri, who was acting as a backup. I will try my best. Sakura-san said as if she had made up her mind. Come on, Sakura. You must know that you will be a big star in the future, so your current courage is not enough and you have to improve it. Only. Oreki also recalled that when he went to get tickets for Mirai Sakura's concert, Sakura seemed to say the right thank you. If you need some courage training, I can help, Oreki said. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 635. Hey, is that okay? Eri pushed up his glasses gently. Although she feels that life is very good now. It's just that when going out with Jia can calmly face the eyes of others and talk to others, but she always hides behind the other person, which makes her feel a little sorry. So she also wanted to be bold. I finally made friends, and I didn't want to become a burden. So, want to be bold. And now he mustered up the courage to ask Oreki-san. Of course Oreki-san said. I will assist you. After encouraging Sakura, Oreki-san left the cafe. Kushida. Horikita. Kushida glanced at Horikita Suzune. Horikita Suzune seemed to be distracted. Yes. At this time, Horikita-san was distracted. She was tricked by Kushida into putting on a maid outfit today. Of course, according to Kushida, she was very cute, and Horikita probably knew how good she looked. According to Kushida, it's cute. Although she didn't really want to be praised, she was still a little nervous when she saw Oreki-san walking over. You may even worry about whether the other person will say you are not suitable if you wear it this way. But Horikita Suzune shook her head again. Because it's like wanting to be praised. This is really fatal. Because although she calmed down for a while and avoided contact with Oreki Houtarou, Horikita Suzune already understood that she might really like him. So I care a lot about the other person's evaluation. Rather say. If the other party said that it was inappropriate to dress like this, she might never wear a maid outfit again. Only. It must have been ignored by him just now. Horikita-san seemed upset. But that's not the case with Kushida-san. Because before Oreki came over, she sent him a message and even took a picture of Horikita Suzune and sent it to him. And his reply was clearly take more pictures if you have the chance and 100,000 points per picture, such heroic speeches. As a result, after arriving at the scene, Oreki had a nonchalant attitude towards Horikita Suzune. And this method, she knows it well. This is called playing hard to get. It should be said that he is a man who is dating the student council president, and his grasp of girls has become very mature. Among them, Kushida-san himself also contributed experience points. It's really unsatisfying. However, Oreki-san is very generous, and she is not lacking in points, so she can barely accept her current life. And watching Oreki leave, Horikita Suzune, who was upset, suddenly looked at her phone. Horikita received a text message. There was only one sentence in the text message. I just forgot to mention, the maid outfit is very beautiful, suitable for you, however, I don't recommend you to wear it like this, it looks good and I don't want others to see it. It was both complimentary and possessive. Look. Horikita Suzune's expression had changed, her cheeks became red and hot. This is completely controlled by the other party. What a terrible man. But, in other words, Horikita Suzune could not escape from Oreki's grasp. Therefore, the probability of these two getting married in the future is still very high. Then, her plan to take revenge on the two of them might be able to be launched. Kushida-san is in a good mood. In this way, Incubation High School, the first cultural festival open to the public, begins. Follow the rules of the cultural festival. The whole grade participates, and then the turnover is used as the criterion for ranking. The class ranked first to fourth will receive add 100 points in class evaluation. Classes ranked 5th to 8th will receive add 50 points from the class evaluation score. For classes ranked 9th to 12th, the class evaluation scores will remain unchanged. At the same time, any fraud for the sake of sales is prohibited. Then students in this class are prohibited from consuming items in this class. As the student council president, President Sakayanagi presided over the opening of the cultural festival. Then, let's enjoy the cultural festival while doing our best. The cultural festival is open to people outside the school. But it's a pity. This opening was the work of Ayanokaji's father, so the real opening to the outside world was false, and only some special guests were invited. At the same time, it was not the students' family members who were invited. So Oreki originally thought about whether he could meet his sister, but there was no chance. And what Kosake Anaga said means that even the number of special guests is very small. Therefore, most of the project activities still rely on the consumption of students, faculty, and staff on campus, as well as staff in shopping streets who rarely have a chance to rest. Usually students go to shopping streets to spend money, but now it's completely the other way around. Then it's our business hours. As President Sakayanagi announced the opening time of the cultural festival with a beep, Katsuragi-san in Oreki-san's class started chanting. Just like the reservation, their class sells fried noodles with drinks. The goal is to lose money and increase turnover. When Katsuragi-san shouted, he quickly received a response from his companions. The students in class are still so motivated. Katsuragi-san is as steady as ever, so steady that he is reluctant to throw away a 100-point class evaluation score. Since it was a cooking job, Oreki-san did not participate. At the same time, Oreki also found out, and the third grader chose to show off. The reason is that there is no stall project in the third grade area. After all, winning the cultural festival this time will only reward 100 class evaluation points, and even the last few will not be punished. Nanyun reorganized the third grade in the uninhabited island exam, which caused dissatisfaction among some students. And now this kind of fun project is naturally launched to win people's hearts. Give up setting up stalls, and then everyone will have points issued by the school and their own points to spend. Bye. So, as Kosake Anaga said, enjoyment is the essence of this cultural festival. So after thinking about it for a while, Oreki prepared to join the second-year Class D project. Maid Cafe. But the preparations are not done yet. Cultural festival, this is a project for ordinary schools, Hashinomi Yayu said. We didn't experience it at all in high school. Let's make up for it this time. I want to go shopping. The students in my class performed a haunted house performance. Ichino's handicrafts are quite good, I can take you to experience them, Hashinomi Ya chirped. I remember you were afraid of these things when you were little. But, Sae-chan, the students in your class are quite impressive. The one you chose is the maid cafe. It's quite hidden. And I have to say, there are really many cute girls in your class. Only Ichino-san in my class can fight. Perhaps because she was in a good mood, Hashinomi Yachie became noisier than before. Just talking about the maid cafe project, it is very ordinary in ordinary cultural festivals, but it is different in this school. Chibashira also discovered that the girls in his class are too good looking. So this kind of visual impact may have a good effect. Yet Chibashira said. But I was bought by students for 1 hour with points. It seems like he wants to do something to help. Can you help? Star Palace said. It won't be for logistics. Indeed, if it gets busy, everyone will want to use it. And with that said, the two of them arrived at the maid cafe of Class D, second grade. The students decorated it, and even though they were borrowing an empty classroom, they felt a warm atmosphere as soon as they approached. Welcome, master. A row of maids looked at them. Smile. What a great experience. However, when he realized that two teachers were walking in, Hospi-san stopped smiling. Chibashira-sensei, you're too late, the other party said. But she seemed to have discovered Hashinomi Ya-sensei next to Chibashira. You brought a friend with you, Hospi-san tilted his head. That's just right. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 636. Hospi-san said, I am a prepared person, so your friends should also change their clothes. I'm sorry, Chibashira-sensei at this time, Kurosawa-san said. I lied to you before. The help you wanted was not to do logistics, but to change into a maid outfit and give our class extra points. Chibashira was stunned. Because this is different from what was promised. Why does she want to participate? No, you may be mistaken, I am a teacher. Chibashira refused. But Chibashira-sensei, you have already accepted the points we sent you, right? 1 hour, what we bought is your time, and since you took the money, isn't it the right thing to do, Hospi said. Or is it true that everything you said when you enrolled can be purchased with points? Are you provoking the authority of the school? Hospi-san looked aggressive. I didn't say I wanted to veto the school. Chibashira felt that the attack power of these students suddenly became sharper. Then let's change clothes, Hospi said. And the teacher from class B here, please change your clothes too. Because Hospi said. You don't want to see your friend ashamed alone. Palace of Stars. Hashinomi Yachiye finally reacted. He was brought in anyway. And the other side. When Oreki was heading to the second-year Class D project, he suddenly stopped at a cafe hosted by first-year students. Because he accidentally discovered 2 people. And they are all acquaintances. One is Ayanokaji's classmate, and the other is a middle-aged man who has a similar appearance to Ayanokaji. Ayanokaji Itsumai. The initiator of this cultural festival. Chapter 300. Okay, this is very long UN class. Oreki didn't know much about Ayanokaji's father. At first, he just arranged for Kamuro-san to follow and secretly photograph him, and then Ayanokaji himself told the information about his father. Combined with Tsukijo's performance from time to time and Nanae-senpai's accusations. All confirmed that Mr. Ayanokaji's fate of being imprisoned by his son in the future was brought about by himself. He is an unscrupulous person who has no bottom line. And now, he used his power to open the door to Yuchin High School and passively opened the door to external contact. And the way is a cultural festival. But everyone knows that the real reason is that Ayanokaji Itsumai is planning to come to the door himself. And now, you look good, Ayanokaji Itsumai said. They were now in a cafe prepared for first graders. It looked like a cultural festival was going on, but in reality, he entered the school openly and came to see Ayanokaji Kiyotaka. And if you are willing to bow your head now, then write your name on this withdrawal application. Ayanokaji Itsumai said. Am I right? Mr. Ayanokaji said this and looked at Chairman Sakayanagi, who remained polite. In fact, it was Mr. Ayanokaji who requested to come to school, and he was worried that he would cause something to happen and implicate the students, so the chairman sent a message to call Ayanokaji Kiyotaka over. Certainly. The chairman is a reliable person. The student was called out, but he was worried, so he came over himself and was right there. Our school respects the wishes of students. Chairman Sakayanagi used to be Mr. Ayanokaji's secretary before taking over the position of chairman. So the two are acquaintances. Also know the other person's temper. But he also has his own position now. So, if Ayanokaji-san voluntarily chooses to drop out of school, our school will not intervene. But Chairman Sakayanagi added. And if the student refuses to withdraw from school, we will not recognize it even if he signs it. As he said this, he looked at Ayanokaji-san. And these words mean that we respect the wishes of Ayanokaji-san and will not agree even if Ayanokaji Itsumai forces him. On the side of the students. This is a statement. Ayanokaji. I will not drop out of school, Ayanokaji said. So, you came here today for nothing. Your wings are hardened, Ayanokaji Itsumai said. You have to know that you are mine. Then do you regard him as your son? At this time, a voice came. The three of them looked over and saw a handsome boy with dark green pupils walking over. "Who are you, Ayanokaji-itsumi?" saw Oreki for the first time. "Oreki Houtarou," Oreki-san said. "Students of this school." "Then we signed an agreement with Ayanokaji-san," Oreki said. "So if you want to drop out of school, Ayanokaji-san, I can't agree to it." Ayanokaji-itsumi's sharp eyes glanced over. "What agreement did you sign with him?" "A plan," Oreki-san said. "When he becomes prime minister, I need him to come up with a plan." Ayanokaji Atsushi. Hearing Oreki-san's request, he looked at his son. "Because?" He asked Ayanokaji Kiyotaka to go back just to make him use him, and the goal was also, he hoped to push the other party into the political arena and then go to a position that he had no way to go to. As a result, your guy's goal is also that position. So why reject him? "The future me is yours," Ayanokaji Kiyotaka said. "But the current campus life is the freedom that I have not gained." In other words, has Ayanokaji Kiyotaka finally given in? "I will arrange a car at the school gate," Ayanokaji-itsumi said. "I will give you half a day to think about it. If you drop out of school now, it will still be Hakubo's crowning masterpiece. And once you reject me," Ayanokaji-itsumi said, "I'm not going to stop trying to kick you out of school." Then he walked outside, and outside, stood two men dressed in black. This time, because it was a cultural festival, the school gate was open to allow his. But it is a pity that if you simply use force, Ayanokaji Kiyotaka is Hakubo's highest masterpiece, and even the bodyguards cannot defeat him. And if weapons are used, this is a public area and he cannot use them. With Sakayanagi also watching, Ayanokaji-itsumi could only give up temporarily. But, after all, he has obtained his son's wishes, which can be regarded as something gained. But, speak of it? Oreki-san stopped him. "Mr. Ayanokaji, do you know a butler named Matsuo?" "What do you mean?" Upon hearing the name, Ayanokaji-itsumi immediately looked over. "I want to say that God is watching what you do. Some things are best dealt with and repented of," Oreki said. He. Ayanokaji-itsumi seemed to smile. "Because? Do you need to repent if you have done something bad? Then he might not have to spend the rest of his life in repentance. Then his future was imprisoned by his son in a white-painted room. Even if I haven't been his secretary for many years. But I still feel some pressure." Chairman Sakayanagi looked at Mr. Ayanokaji's back, then turned back to Oreki and Ayanokaji and said. "So, Ayanokaji, are you sure you will return to him after finishing your studies at this school? Even as chairman, I can't provide you with more assistance. We can only uphold fairness. If it is not your intention to withdraw from school, we will not accept it," Chairman Sakayanagi said. "I haven't thought about it yet," Ayanokaji said. "But it may be the only option." "Actually, we can't say this is a choice," Oreki said. "It is no one else who restricts your freedom. Just your father. Ayanokaji. And Ayanokaji is very smart. He quickly understood that what Oreki was saying was that he originally just wanted the freedom of campus life, but what about the future? Do you want to be your father's tool? No. The person who can really control him is his father, so just get rid of him. What he had then was true freedom. And he was actually considering this, otherwise he wouldn't have deliberately talked to Yu Cheng when he was about to leave. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten a note before being called to see his father by the chairman. "Ayanokaji-itsumi is here to see you by Yu Cheng." Yu Cheng's name was written on the note. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 637. Moon City will also become dangerous once the note is discovered. But this means that Mr. Yu Cheng has already begun to show his loyalty. So, although the force that truly takes over from his father will be regarded as a tool by the other party, it might as well be a kind of counterattack. Ayanokaji already has a future. Although he met Ayanokaji at Samai, Oreki was not interested in people who would do anything to climb up, because the reason why a person can be called a human must at least have a bottom line. If there is no bottom line, then it is almost like a beast. He doesn't like Ayanokaji at Samai. But, although it took some time, we could still go to the maid cafe of Class D, 2nd grade. But, please take a look at the flyer. If you don't come to our store, then we might be kicked out of school. It's a cultural festival that everyone can enjoy, but you're going to watch your classmates drop out of school like this. From a distance, I saw students from Class C of the 2nd grade handing out flyers. Among them are Oreki-san's informant Manabe Shiho-san, and then there is also Ishizaki Daiichi-san who has a loud voice. Their clothes have changed, the girls are wearing kimonos and the boys are wearing yukata. Among them, the girl's kimono is the purple plaid type. It feels like a sales girl from the Taisho era. Oreki came over and Manabe-san handed him the flyer. Oreki checked it out. Ryuan's class is doing a takoyaki stall project. So handing out flyers is to promote popularity, but... However, there was a message on the flyer that if the student who arranged the sales had the lowest sales, he would be expelled from the school. Hey. Long Yuan, do you need to be so fierce? This is... Ryuan's approach Ishizaki Daiichi said as if he was a little embarrassed. Our class doesn't have to rush to win awards. But... as long as you spend on projects, the final sales will not be returned to the school, Ishizaki Daiichi said. And this is Shiina-san's suggestion. Is it? In other words, sell poorly and then attract sales, which is to make money. So it's really a Ryuan class. Now that the uninhabited island exam is over, all students will be compensated for abstention. Students who have prop cards in the uninhabited island exam can even get part of the prop card rewards. So students barely have money and can be ripped off. So naturally, their money was defrauded through compassion. Let's take a quick look, Oreki-san said. You lead the way. And having said that, I felt that Ishizaki Daiichi and the others were still handing out leaflets. Letting them lead the way now meant that they had to reduce their share of the work. So Oreki-san handed over a point card. Ishizaki Daiichi was puzzled. Today is the cultural festival, and I just want to be a guest. So this can be regarded as your lost time expenses for leading the way, Oreki said. Ishizaki Daiichi took the point card handed over by Oreki-san with some surprise. Is it? By the way, what Ryuan said before was really wrong, because isn't Oreki-san super easygoing? How could it be possible to squeeze points from others? Class C, 2nd grade. The takoyaki here is delicious, absolutely authentic. Please buy our takoyaki. If I don't sell my share here, I will be selected by Ryuan to be dropped out of the next exam. I beg you. If you just saw on the flyer the words successfully sold out and dropped out of school. But when we actually arrived at Class C's stall, it was like a large-scale deception scene. Moreover, Oreki discovered that although it was takoyaki, Ryuan class's takoyaki was slightly different from the one sold on the street, probably because there was no octopus in the octopus balls. In other words, the material was withheld. But there's no need for repeat customers. Catch one and cheat the other. Speaking of which, are you going to greet guests like this? Not even a smile. Keep a straight face. Oreki said. He did not go to the students of Class C who were in full swing, but came to a short-haired poster girl. Only her stall was empty. It would be better to say that she was not miserable at all. You are, Oreki Houtarou. The short-haired girl who was being chatted by Oreki suddenly turned her head and confirmed the other person's identity. I'm here as a guest now, Oreki said. I think it's weird what I'm wearing, Ibuki said. But Shiina insisted that I put it on, saying she wanted to keep it neat. Is it? In other words, This was Hiri's idea. In fact, from some angles, it can be seen that the relationship between Hiri and Ibuki will be good in the future. Hiri sometimes gives her a thumbs up, trying to get her to integrate into the collective team. And thinking about it? Sorry, I went to get something. A slightly soft voice came. Looking over, I saw a girl with beautiful long silver hair walking over in a kimono and clogs. She moves very fast and looks a little reckless, but there is no denying that she is actually quite cute. And her skin is white and translucent. When wearing a kimono, she needs to expose her neck, so she also tied a pair of ponytails. This gesture looks a bit fresh. And this is Hiri Shiina. Isn't this Oreki-san? Hiri-san, unlike Ibuki, seemed very outgoing. After all, Oreki-san is still her sponsor. Kimonos are a bit rustic, but different people wear them, so they give people different feelings, Oreki said. The kimono suits you perfectly. Yes, regarding this, Shiina-san seemed to be generous. After all, she knew that she was also a beautiful girl with very good looks. Would you like some takoyaki then? By the way, I made this myself, Shiina said attentively. That's not necessary, Oreki said. He wasn't too interested in takoyaki without octopus in it. I have to go to Class D later. Saying this, Oreki turned around just as he was about to leave. But since I'm a waiter, I want to get tips, Oreki said. Hold your hands out. Hands. Shiina-san blinked slightly, but raised her left hand obediently. Then she found that Oreki took out a point card from the pocket of his jacket and placed it in her palm. Then he turned and left. Why would he tip directly? Ibuki said. After all, he is Oreki-san. He is a very gentleman. Besides, Ibuki, you just talked to him, right, Shiina? Then maybe he gave us this point card together. Shiina-san is still very generous. Rather, she partnered with Ibuki in the treasure hunt on the ship and was rewarded with points. And she finally collected 20 million points. So now she is actually a little rich woman. However, no one hates having too many points, but sometimes they can be shared. So she didn't mind sharing the 12,000 point card tip she got from Oreki-san. Anyway, let's scan it first, Shiina said. Then he took out his mobile phone and scanned the QR code on the point card. Drop. The limit of point card number 14,644 is 5 million private points. The limit of point card number 14,644 is 5 million private points. As if she was surprised by the amount, Shiina-san had a look of astonishment on her face. Because, am I right? You call 5 million a tip? Oreki-san actually gave such an amount. Talk. Oreki-san, what are you doing? Don't you only give 200,000 points to support her? Why do you want to suddenly give 5 million? Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 638. You must know that she got 2 million points through organizing and searching in the treasure hunt game before. It's considered hard work and hard work. As a result, you just dumped 5 million right now. It will make her feel that it is so hard to make money, and she wants to be a useless person who has to bear the food. So, how many points did Oreki give? Ibuki said. Although he is still in Class C, it has been confirmed that his promotion has failed. Then she would have to go her own way. So for the sake of the future, it is also a good choice to accumulate some points. So since Shiina said this was a tip from Oreki to them, they can share some of it. The points given by Oreki-san. But Shiina-san is at war in her heart. She was thinking about the friendship between her classmates and the weight of 5 million, and whether she should grab this point card. Because 5 million. Only a fool wants to share 5 million. Chapter 301. The person I want to name, Sei Ichibashira, is you. Shiina-san became upset. And Oreki-san has completely left the Class C area. Long Yuan and the others have gone astray and only want to make money. However, as one of the first people to make money, Oreki-san is still very tolerant. Furthermore, considering Shiina's love for money, she specially left 5 million points for her. There was nothing he could do about it. From the precognitive dream, he knew that he and Shiina-san would change qualitatively in the future. Although he himself was surprised by this result, he is not an irresponsible person, so if Shiina-san wants money, he will still give it to him. After all, Shiina-san's appetite is relatively small, which is completely different from Kosake and Aga's. Moreover, in the last precognitive dream, it was discovered that besides being married to lawyer Horikita, he had a child who had been raising his child alone. And she is his eldest daughter. So now that we are back in the real world, if we can make some supplements, then naturally we will make some supplements. So I have to prepare some points or cash to give to Amaze Senpai. And thinking about it, we have arrived at the maid cafe of Class D, 2nd grade. If the Long Yuan class is doing poorly, then it distributes flyers everywhere, and then recruits people everywhere. It seems that the 2nd grade Class D has not considered this issue. First of all, the stall they chose is not outside and borrowed from other classes to use the club activity room as a base. Instead, it is in the experimental building of a special teaching building that is relatively deep and where no one usually comes. You even have to go to the 2nd floor. Yes. From a location point of view, for the purpose of turnover, it failed. Therefore, there was no more leaflets, publicity, etc., and 2nd grade Class D immediately seemed to be ignored. If people hadn't known about the cafe activities here, they wouldn't have come here at all. And there is also a shortage of students, but according to Kushida, it seems that he feels that it is rare to have a cultural festival in this school, which looks very similar to schools outside. It's reassuring. And even if you don't participate, there is no penalty. So isn't that a pretty good thing? In other words, the students in the class are not really keen on cultural festivals, but they want to spend money. As a member of the uninhabited island exam, all students received a minimum compensation of 50,000 points. So it can be regarded as a consumer who can consume. So why do you have to do it so hard? So most people become consumers. However, Kushida and the others' conditions are also very simple. The school issues 5,000 private points to each student. If they don't want to participate in the business, they must hand over these points. At this point, although some students wanted to save money and stay to help, most of them still went to play. So even if they are promoted to 2nd grade, Class D will still be Class D. However, 2nd year Class D might be able to win. Because he has already told Kei and Hospi their plan to clear the cultural festival this time. That is, as long as Chibashira-sensei in a maid outfit stays in the classroom, this fact will win. And 10 minutes ago. That's it, Chibashira-sensei and Hoshinomiya-sensei. Please change into the maid uniforms here. Chibashira and Hoshinomiya-chie were caught when they arrived at the cafe. Although there was one more candidate, Hospi-san felt that since everyone was here, Hoshinomiya-chie-sensei should also join in to help. So I arranged for Sato-san to bring a maid outfit suitable for Hoshinomiya-sensei. No, Chibashira seemed to still want to refuse. But, teacher, you have checked the transfer we sent you. And this time the rules have the option to allow teachers to help, so you have no way to refuse now. But the person who suppressed Chibashira was not Hospi, but a strict-looking girl with black hair and foxy eyes. Horikita Suzune. Obviously, he has become very different in front of Oreki-san during this period, like a little bird, but towards other people, Horikita-san is very calm. Especially when dealing with Chibashira-sensei. Seems handy. But if you ask me to put on a maid outfit, I won't be suitable. Chia looks light and airy, so it suits her well. Teacher Chibashira decided to save her. However, how can you say this, Sae-chan? Hashinomi Yachawai was originally just a disaster. But now Chibashira actually wants to sell her for himself? Hashinomi Yachie couldn't bear this kind of thing. Well, since it's the school's rule, there's nothing we can do about it, Hashinomi Yachie said, and then directly pulled Chibashira into the locker room. Although she was also in the water, she couldn't accept Xiao Chibashira's casual shirk just now and even asking her to take over the post. In this way, Horikita looked at Kushida. Okay, Kushida-san nodded. Then use your mobile phone to paste the article you prepared in advance and prepare it as a contact item to send to your classmates. This is also the reason why so many students are allowed to be lazy and not work. That means they must go everywhere to play, and then can't they also become the best publicists? This is Kushida-san's plan. Because the teacher was used and the female teacher was forced to put on a maid outfit and appear as a maid. This topic has great impact. The plan almost went through, and the topic immediately spread by word of mouth. What? Is there such a conservative program? I want to come back. Wait a minute, I have to promote it? Suddenly I feel like our class can win. Everyone, calm down and go attract customers first. The class instantly became lively. And this also means that a large number of guests are about to appear. Although he didn't know about this yet, Chibashira-sensei had already ran out of the locker room. The dressing room and classroom are separate, so Chibashira has now changed into a maid outfit. But her face was red. And standing at the door was Sakura-san, who was in charge of logistics. I am here, Sakura-san. Hurry, let me into the classroom. Sakura did not participate in the maid activities, but she also wanted to make changes, so the change she made today was, well, first go to the door to guide the guests. But not many guests came. There are only 2 or 3 female guests in the classroom now. But this is also a free service. So Sakura said quickly. Wait, I've been waiting for a long time. Hashinomi Yachie had arrived before her. Although she changed into a maid outfit, Hashinomi Yachie was a bit eye-catching and was immediately named by the guests. And the current customer is a girl from her class, named Wang Gangmeiza. Joined the tennis club and is a sports-type student. But she is just like any other ordinary girl. Teacher Hashinomi Ya looks so cute, so young. Can I take pictures? Internet classmate Meiza seemed to be interested in such a class teacher. Of course you can, but you can't use the term young to describe your lovely big sister. It should be said that I have always been 18 years old, sister. But if you want to take pictures, do you need to charge an additional 2,000 points, Hashinomi Yachie said. Hashinomi Yachie got into the role very quickly. And this made teacher Chibashira feel pressured. So, what do I need to do here? Chibashira asked quickly. Let me take a look at the instructions, Sakura-san said. Then send a message quickly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 639. And Chibashira clearly saw Sakura sending a message to a student from another class. And the other party's reply was also very fast. And Sakura read according to the message sent by the other party. Please come into the classroom and then. You don't have to do anything. Just stand there. Sakura pointed in a direction. What? Chibashira didn't seem to understand. Because it's like, just let her in the classroom. Don't you need her to do other things? Because he said no need, and asked the teacher to do a good job as a maid. So just the minimum requirement is enough, Sakura said. He is Chibashira just confirmed that Sakura was in contact with someone else, but she didn't see the name of the contact person. Yes, Oreki-san, Sakura was honest. But, is this Oreki Houtarou from Class A? Chibashira asked. Does Chibashira-sensei also know Oreki-san? Sakura-san was obviously a little introverted just now, but she tried hard to communicate with others. But now, the words suddenly became smoother. And this situation is probably when talking about topics that can make her feel at ease. This. Do you know? In fact, she is quite familiar with it. Because I had an obsession before, I wanted to arrange for Horikita to lead the class, and then arrange for Ayanokaji to continue teaching after the class was promoted to Class B. Then the class may have a chance to advance. This is her obsession. However, what happened next was beyond her imagination. Because Horikita, an honest person, refused, and there was someone behind her. That is Houtarou Oreki. Not only did it shatter her operations and arrangements, it also made her completely give up on class competition. And now she just hopes to finish teaching this class of students, and then she will start her stagnant life. Result. Many girls in the class are related to him. But Oreki Houtarou. How to say? Chibashira felt as if he had heard this name somewhere, or even as if he had seen the other person before. This feeling is amazing. You know, she has no memory of knowing the other person. Then, can the teacher please go to the classroom first? Sakura-san was already evading. It seems that some students got the information and came to visit. In this way, Teacher Chibashira was rushed into the classroom. Sakura stared at the other person. The arrangement was also very simple. Teacher Chibashira didn't need to talk to anyone, he just stayed in the corner of the classroom. But the teacher seemed a little shy. Cheeks are red. Obviously she thinks Chibashira-sensei is cute in what he wears. Obviously he usually has a cold face, but now he is actually shy. What a cute contrast. Before Sakura became a graphic model, she was also good at taking photos. In other words, she has the soul of an artist. So, Chibashira-sensei, please let me take a picture. Of course, I will pay the price of 2,000 points, Sakura said quickly. Then he raised the camera hanging around his neck. In addition to selling food, the maid cafe also allows you to take photos and group photos, which is a bit like idols, but it requires a fee. Sakura is good at taking pictures and seems to be recognized by most girls for some reason. So in addition to the logistical work, she also had to follow up on the photography. But now, she wanted to take a picture of Chibashira-sensei first. I don't have any objection, Chibashira didn't resist too much. But I feel very embarrassed about dressing like this. A white patterned skirt paired with black stockings. The whole person looks cute. Although she usually wears black stockings, she feels unusually embarrassed now. Sakura, how can you take pictures here by yourself? And Sato-san has noticed Sakura's behavior. Yes, Megami. Sato-san immediately joined his friend. However, she discovered that the classmate Kurosawa who was beside her just now was missing. Benefit. By this time, the first batch of guests who had received the message had arrived. But the first person to arrive was a boy with beautiful dark green eyes and short black hair. Perhaps because of the hot weather, the boy unbuttoned the top button of his school uniform. And this move will also expose his collarbone. As for this collarbone, Sato-san has an impression. It's Oreki-san. And Kurosawa-san took the initiative to greet Oreki-san. Master, we have many menus to choose from, Kurosawa said. Sato. Hello. Benefit. She clearly regarded Kurosawa as her best friend, but at this moment, Sato-san felt betrayed. Don't be nervous at this time, Horikita came to Chibashira's side. The projects here are relatively simple and we don't ask the teacher too much. Is it? Chibashira was a little nervous when he saw Houtarou Oreki arriving in the classroom. It's a strange feeling. Because this was not the first time she met each other, she had even met him several times in school before, but they didn't have much conversation. But this time, there was an inexplicable sense of tension. There is always a feeling of being embarrassed to face the other person. This feels so weird. And Horikita, are you really okay? Chibashira asked Horikita Suzune. What? Your ears are all red, Chibashira said. Horikita. Is it? This is where Horikita Suzune feels confused. She just noticed Oreki-san arriving in the classroom, so she deliberately avoided it. Result. Is this still the case? Obviously, I was complimented by the other party for wearing a maid uniform before, but now, I feel even more embarrassed to face the other party. And thinking about it? Can we take a photo? Oreki asked. Of course, one ticket costs 2,000 points, and if you are a teacher, the price will be doubled, Hospi said quickly. And if the host is in a good mood, you can also give an extra tip. As a veteran of this school, everyone knows who the richest person in this school is. Does that mean choosing a teacher is the most expensive? Yes, although the girls in our store are very cute, I think the teacher is the most popular, Hospi said. As he said this, Oreki-san's eyes fell on Sae Chibashira. Chapter 302 Kushida-senpai and Azawa-senpai. Oreki-san and Sakura have always been in contact. And Sakura also asked what to do if Chibashira really came to report. Yes. After all, it was his suggestion, so it was best to ask him. Then he sent a message to Sakura, asking for the minimum of Chibashira. Result. Chibashira is really standing in the corner obediently, and seems to be quite shy. Judging from the looks of Kushida and the others, it seems that they have already started sending out group messages, preparing to use Chibashira as the main weapon in the maid cafe. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 640. Indeed. As long as you see the T-pillars, you will feel, well, even if you spend money to come here, you will feel that it is valuable. Because, Sae Chibashira now shows a shy style that is completely different from her usual cute maid outfit with black stockings. It highlights the curvature of the smooth calves. How to say? The T-pillar in front of you gives people a sense of freshness. The female colleague who was usually cold-faced turned out to be coy and shy. And it will probably be very popular. Speaking of which, Chibashira-sensei has always been single. Oreki walked towards Chibashira Sae. Well. Chibashira himself was surprised to be spoken to by Oreki. Because when she saw Houtarou Oreki approaching, she actually felt a little nervous. If you were forced to put on a maid outfit at first, then you would be a little embarrassed to be seen by students in your own class. Then she was left to play and was helpless, and now she felt a strong sense of tension. He seems to be worried about being judged by the boy in front of him. Indeed. Oreki Houtarou was able to see through her intention to take advantage of Horikita Suzune from the beginning, and even taught her lessons in return, which proves that this boy is very mature. But that wasn't the reason for her panic. Chibashira thought that he might have been infected by Horikita Suzune's panic. I also became a little afraid of seeing Oreki Houtarou. And speaking of Horikita Suzune, only then did Chibashira realize that Horikita was no longer in the classroom. Hello. It's just Oreki coming over, are you actually going to run away? Then. How do I take a picture? Sakura-san, who was in charge of taking pictures, came over with a camera. Sakura has a talent for photography. This has been recognized by a large number of girls. So she came to take charge of the position of photographer, and was accepted almost as soon as she proposed it. But now she seems to have entered the state. Although his tone was still timid, soon, when he picked up the camera, he felt like a new person. Because this is her area of expertise. Don't be nervous, Oreki said to Chibashira. Although I spent 4,000 points. But I won't do anything excessive. Chibashira. I'm not nervous, Chibashira said quickly. I just always feel that if I am of my grade and have such a personality, it would be weird to put on such a cute maid outfit. I think it's quite cute, Oreki said while standing next to Chibashira and looking at the camera in front of him. In other words, it's very fresh. If I had been born 10 years earlier, I might have pursued you, Oreki said. Oh, Chibashira nodded. That's it? By the way, why can you say such things to her? Do you know what weird things you are saying? If it were an innocent girl, she would definitely misunderstand this as a confession. And I always feel like I have experienced this wonderful mood before. Chibashira-sensei and cute Sakura now raised her head from the camera. Can you smile a little? Chibashira. Take photos. If it was just an ordinary photo shoot, Chibashira would certainly not refuse. Rather, she was actually quite experienced because Hoshinomiya often asked her to take photos. At that time, she was also told that she couldn't laugh. Only. Now. Chibashira-sensei, be natural, photographer Sakura said. For it. Chibashira seemed troubled. Because it was like asking Susan Horikita, who always had a straight face, to smile. It's very difficult. Although Chibashira smiled, he didn't know how wide he should smile, or rather, whether he would become ugly if he smiled too wide. It always feels like she is paying attention to these messy things now. Since this is a photo shoot, I asked Chibashira-sensei to be more serious, but Sakura photographer was not satisfied. In her area of expertise, Sakura-san sometimes becomes like this. Oreki-san has a deep understanding of this because he has been his partner's model. It's best to relax, Oreki said. Still, I have made very harsh demands on you. I'd better smile, Chibashira said. After all, she was asked to help by the students, and then she was told not to do anything but to stand aside. But having nothing really come in handy makes her feel useless. So, she took the initiative and walked to Oreki's side. This feels a little strange. Because when he met Oreki at such a close distance last year, the other person was not that tall. But this year, I feel like the other person has grown taller again. At the same time, perhaps because of the close proximity, I could actually smell the pleasant and faint smell of green grass. Does it turn out that boys also have body odor? Chibashira-sensei, and Sakura photographer noticed Chibashira's state. Why is Chibashira-sensei looking a little dazed? Sorry, Chibashira said quickly. Then she began to think back to how Hoshinomiya pretended to be in the past. For example, even though she was in a bad mood, she had to keep smiling. At that time, she said that she could just pretend to be happy by thinking about happy things. Think of happy things. When I was in elementary school, I scored 100 points on the exam. For it. This doesn't seem happy enough. So when I was in high school, I moved forward with everyone in the class, but in the end I didn't graduate from class A. Didn't she have any happy things in her past life? While thinking this, Chibashira suddenly felt his left hand being covered by someone. The temperature was passed all of a sudden. It turned out that someone was holding her hand. Human beings can learn what warmth is through contact with each other. This is very important. If you are nervous or encounter trouble, it is very important to seek help from others, Oreki said. At this moment, Chibashira's eyes seemed to widen instantly. Because she seemed to have heard similar words at some point, sometime. And this temperature. Passed on. Very good, do you still need to take pictures? And photographer Sakura has done her job. No need to add more, Oreki said. It seems like too much to ask of Chibashira-sensei. No, that. Chibashira said quickly. She felt she was not helping the students. It's also my lack of thinking, Oreki said. If you add the item of taking pictures, she will feel pressure even if she stands aside. After all, she is not Hoshinomiya-sensei, Oreki said. At this moment, Hoshinomiya Chie, who was visiting her classmates, suddenly became alert. She felt like someone was talking bad about her. Teacher Hoshinomiya, Asako looked at her curiously. No, what were we talking about just now? Star Palace quickly started serving. In fact, she suddenly felt that being a maid seemed pretty good. If Chibashira resigned from school and left to pursue his own life, then, should she try to be a maid? Then master, would you like a cup of coffee? Seeing that Oreki-san seemed unhappy, Kuruzawa said quickly. No need, Oreki said. Let's close the business here today. Something's wrong, Oreki said. And this is a tip. Saying this, Oreki took out 2-point cards. This is. Hospi, who was in charge of calculations, came over. Is it because Oreki-san wants them to stop the cultural festival activities? But your class will take first place in this cultural festival. If we calculate it based on sales volume, Oreki said. Why, Matsushita-san was puzzled.